guys, so it's Boba Fett time once again. The Book of Boba Fett episode 6 just aired on Disney+. Last week's episode easily was probably the best episode of the season. The main problem, there was no Boba Fett in it. It was all about Din Djarin following the Mandalorian once again. While it was a bit jarring following him the entire episode and we only got to see Fennec Shand and him at the very end of the episode, it was a great piece of Star Wars media. Bryce Dallas Howard directed the hell out of that episode, and now we move on to the main storyline once again with this episode. Once I knew that Dave Filoni was directing this episode, I knew that things were going to go crazy, and it absolutely does. Dave Filoni did such a fantastic job with this episode. Once again though, it's not really a Boba Fett episode, it's much more of a Mandalorian episode again, but there is a little bit of Boba Fett towards the very end. So many surprise appearances in this episode, there are so many to count throughout, but the first one was an exciting one. It was Cobb Vanth returning, Marshal Cobb Vanth. Timothy Olyphant's great in this role. It was badass seeing him stand up to the Pikes all on his own, but I am a little bit nervous about the character with the way the episode ends. Part of me was kind of surprised that we jumped right to Mando going to go see Grogu and give him that gift, because I figured maybe we leave some stuff off for Mandalorian Season 3, but we're still doing the Mando stuff in Book of Boba Fett. I was a little nervous when he gets onto the planet and we see him with R2 and we pass the Jedi Temple being built where Luke's gonna train all those students, because we know what happens to that temple. It's a pretty bad sight to see, and it makes me extra nervous because Grogu's potentially probably going to be the first student that Luke has, so my heart is going to break if we find out inevitably down the road that Grogu was killed during all of that stuff. I don't think they would do that, of course, but it's something that's been in the back of my mind since he left with Luke at the end of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. One of the other funny things about The Mandalorian, by the way, is how he's been very apprehensive and against droids, and he's slowly, over the course of the episodes of his own series and this, he's kind of become a lot more nice to the droids, especially with R2-D2. The best thing was finally getting to see Grogu once again, meditating with Luke Skywalker, using his Force abilities to try and catch frogs. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with how much they've improved the Luke Skywalker CGI on his face, because it was a little bit wonky in that finale for Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and he looks a much more believable here. I mean, there are some scenes where like there's that uncanny valley aspect to him, but he's in this episode a lot, and it's almost seamless. I had to laugh that Luke is using the Force to help Grogu walk around. I mean, he's got small legs, he's not very good at walking long distances, but my heart broke when we saw the flashbacks. We get to see a little bit more of Grogu's tragic past, seeing more of Order 66, which feels very in line with Dave Filoni, so thank you, Dave Filoni, for breaking my heart once again all throughout this episode, reminding me of the Clone Wars. You thought we were done with the surprise appearances? No, we also have Ahsoka Tano returning to the series. Rosario Dawson plays her once again. I'm not entirely sure why Ahsoka is in this episode. I love the character, I'm happy that she's in it, but she doesn't really do all that much. She's kind of just there to talk to Mando, and then they have that one scene with Luke Skywalker, and then she leaves. She's not really there to help Grogu out or anything. It was pretty mind-blowing seeing Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka have those interactions on screen. I hope this isn't the one and only time we get those. I figure we'll get more of that in Ahsoka's own series that she's getting in the near future. My heart broke with how much Mando cares about Grogu and Grogu cares about him, but he doesn't want to hurt him in his training with Luke, so he does inevitably end up leaving without meeting once again. But the gift that he gives him is very cool. It's like a fun little chainmail thing. It's really adorable. Once Mando leaves, it looks like we're setting up Grogu to be this really epic, great Jedi with the way that Luke is training him, the epic training montage. We even have Luke running through the Force with Grogu on his back, very much akin to when he did it back in Empire Strikes Back with Yoda. There's a lot of Yoda parallels, but I think it's because Luke has only seen Yoda and Grogu. There's not really anyone else to base him off of, kind of like how everybody called him Baby Yoda before he was actually named Grogu. I am very intrigued where we're going to go with the cliffhanger though, Luke giving him that proposition. You want the Yoda lightsaber, you want Mando's chainmail. I don't know, maybe he chooses the chainmail and that's how he survives not being killed by the Knights of Ren. That'd be a tough decision if it was given to me. I don't know, I think I would probably choose the lightsaber if I'm being honest. Remember how this show was called Book of Boba Fett and how we've not really seen any Boba Fett almost in the last 2 episodes when Mando finally returns to talk to Boba Fett and Fennec Shand and plot everything against the Pikes? It's just a very weird feeling because I'm loving these episodes as a Star Wars fan, but it is weird that we've kind of hijacked Boba Fett's show towards the very end. It was cool though to see Mando go and try and recruit Cobb Vanth to the team to try and take on the Pikes. I figured he would be very receptive to the idea, but it seems like it's not really going to matter with this whole mysterious figure walking up to his town, and it ends up being Cad freaking Bane. We get our first live action appearance of Cad Bane in Star Wars. He looks great. I was really worried how we were going to adapt him into live action, and he looks fantastic, and he takes out Cobb Vanth and his friend. They look pretty dead to me. I hope that they're not both dead. I feel like the other guy definitely is dead, but they're tending to Cobb Vanth on the ground, so maybe he'll survive. But it feels like that makes sense to have the villains have some sort of bounty hunter team to set up for the finale. I didn't think it was going to be Cad Bane. I figured maybe we'd also get like Bosk and all them, which is definitely possible. But who knows? Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What do you think of this episode of the Book of Boba Fett? Do you like the episode? Not like the episode? What do you think of all the big surprise appearances from all the different Star Wars characters? I mean, there's so many to list, but I mean, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan, if I have to say so myself. As always, thank you guys so much for checking out the reviews. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like it and also subscribe to the channel so you're updated with reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Next time, I'll see you guys later.